this, and there's no way I can fail. That's kind of like the Titanic. So the Titanic was the ship which was unsinkable and it sunk. In my situation, it was a lot different than most entrepreneurs. So the law, as it pertains to entrepreneurship, is a lot different than every other aspect. One of the things that I was just mentioning to one of the students at Hillcrest, I spoke at the high school, Hillcrest High School, on last week, and one of the young men came up and asked me, and he said, hey, it must be tough running your own law firm. And I explained to him, it's not really that tough in terms of what most businesses look at. Most businesses, the number one challenge is, how am I going to attract clients? How am I going to find people to come to me? Whereas as an attorney, I don't have that issue, because people, it's very similar to being a doctor in so much people are always going to get sick. People are always going to have a legal need. And because of that, my biggest concern wasn't how am I going to survive in terms of this. My biggest concern was understanding a lot of those other things, which I had never had to think about. I had never had to worry about paying taxes for myself. I had never had to worry about where's my insurance going to come from, because it was always through the company. I had never had to understand about figuring out payroll. I had never had to understand about figuring out retirement plans, all of those different things. But in terms of the question of was there self-doubt, the self-doubt or the kind of the hesitation or consternation lasted for probably a month. And it was more so a case of, again, I don't know how to take care of my own taxes. I don't know how to take care of my own health care. So the comfort level was really with those other things, as opposed to, am I going to make it? Now, it's funny because I've had people come up to me and tell me, and very close friends say that they were nervous and concerned about me. And they were like, whoa, what are you doing? As I had never worked in an entrepreneurial role. I'd had separate businesses, but I had always worked a job since age 16 at Gordon Food Service Marketplace through age 38. All of the time, I always had a job. And so it was a case where I never went down that path. But one of the things that really made me feel comfortable about it was the very next day after I decided to leave from the clerk's office, I got a phone call from someone who said, we need your assistance. And I didn't know how much you're supposed to charge for legal services. I didn't know what any of this looked like. And I just made up a number. And it was a number that I just knew there was no way this person was going to say yes. It was such an astronomically large number. I'm sure they're going to be like, nah, sorry, I can't do it. But when that person said, yes, we'll love to take advantage, and when can we set up an appointment? It was in that very moment that I said,